The final 999 portal of this cycle is upon us, a rare alignment that only comes once in a lifetime. Its energy is heavy, intense, and transformative, a cosmic threshold where endings meet beginnings and where spiritual acceleration can shift the very course of your inner journey. On this day, the universe whispers, urging those who are awake or awakening to pay close attention. The number 9 carries profound meaning. It marks the completion of cycles, the culmination of experiences, and simultaneously plants the seeds for something entirely new. This is a moment to confront what has been carried silently within, to release what no longer serves, and to step into a higher resonance of self-mastery. In this video, 8 crucial insights await, lesser-known teachings drawn from Shaolin philosophy, mindful discipline, and ancient practices of inner alchemy. Each principle is designed to help you navigate this portal, not through wishful thinking, but through grounded awareness, intentional letting go, and aligned action. You will discover how to transform resistance into clarity, tension into balance, and silence into power. These are not simple tips or quick fixes. They are the tools that allow the awakened soul to move through cycles with sovereignty, integrity, and presence. By the end of this journey, you will gain clarity on how to harmonize inner opposites, embody insights in your daily life, and step into a state where action flows from stillness and freedom emerges through discipline. Every moment of this portal carries opportunity for regeneration and deep alignment if approached with mindful precision. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Subscribe and walk with us as we explore these hidden currents of energy, mastery, and ancient wisdom together. The portal is opening, step closer, and discover what lies beyond the threshold. Every ending carries a weight that cannot always be seen, a gravity that settles quietly in the body long before the mind notices. The 999 portal arrives not merely as a date on the calendar, but as an energetic invitation to release deeply, far beyond surface rituals or symbolic gestures. Many believe letting go is a thought, a decision spoken aloud or written down, yet true release lives in the tissues, in the places where old emotions have lodged, where the body remembers what the mind has long forgotten. There are attachments that whisper rather than shout, beliefs that limit perception, emotional debts carried from past encounters, the invisible chains of ancestral patterns. These are subtle, often unnoticed, yet their weight shapes every step, every breath, every choice. To release them requires more than reflection. It requires sensing, feeling each knot, each tension, each shadow in the body, and acknowledging it without judgment. Only then can the energy move. Only then can the self be unbound. In the Shaolin tradition, the body becomes a teacher. The rigor of training, the discipline of movement, the mindfulness woven into every posture, strike, and breath, all serve as mirrors to the inner landscape. When the arms stretch, when the spine bends, when the feet strike the earth with purpose, the body speaks truths the mind cannot yet articulate. It shows where resistance lingers, where fear has settled, where old cycles cling stubbornly. By listening and yielding in these moments, by allowing the muscles, the bones, the very breath to release what no longer serves, the mind follows naturally. True closure is never rushed. It moves slowly, like water wearing smooth the edges of stone. The portal offers its energy, and those who meet it with patience and presence feel endings not as loss, but as transformation. In this deep release, the self begins to realign, and space emerges, not in thought alone, but in every fiber of being. Attention is a river, flowing constantly, yet its direction is seldom chosen. Most of life moves us downstream, pulled by currents of thought, fear, or desire, until we are unaware of the very ground beneath our feet. Shaolin masters teach that true self-mastery begins with noticing where this river of awareness flows. Awareness is the gateway. Wherever it rests, energy follows. Wherever it wanders, so does the mind. During the 999 portal, the currents of life grow louder, distractions multiply, subtle and insistent. The mind seeks the familiar, the urgent, the external. This is not an obstacle, but a teacher. Each pull outward, each moment of agitation is an opportunity to train the inner attention. The practice is simple yet profound. Notice the drift and gently return inward, to the breath, the body, the quiet center that exists beneath thought and sensation. Each return strengthens the subtle muscle of concentration, the foundation upon which steadiness is built. In the halls of Shaolin, monks spend years cultivating this awareness through movement, meditation, and silent labor. They learn that external chaos need not disturb the inner sanctuary. A single breath, observed fully, can anchor the mind in a storm. A deliberate posture, held with presence, can steady emotions that once ran wild. This is the art of returning, a discipline of noticing, releasing, and realigning. Over time, the practice transforms. Attention no longer drifts unbidden. It becomes a tool, a compass. In moments of crisis, the mind does not fracture. It observes, discerns, and acts with clarity. The river of awareness flows where it is invited, not where it is pulled. During this portal, the discipline of inner attention becomes a shield and a bridge, grounding the self, illuminating insight, and revealing the quiet power that has always existed within. Life moves in waves, and within those waves exist contrasts that often feel irreconcilable: comfort and discomfort, motion and stillness, doing and being. Shaolin wisdom teaches that mastery is not found in choosing one over the other, but in harmonizing their currents. Opposites are not enemies, they are guides. Each holds a piece of the path forward, if only we learn to hold them both without resistance. During the 9999 portal, these contrasts intensify. You may feel expansiveness and limitation at once, clarity and confusion, lightness and weight in the body and mind. The instinct is to cling to one, to seek escape from the other. Yet true balance comes from presence within the tension itself. When the body aches, allow rest. When the mind cries for stillness, let action emerge from intention. Neither impulse is wrong. Each has its place, its season, and its lesson. In Shaolin practice, the union of opposites is experienced physically and mentally. The same movement that demands precision and strength is also an exercise in surrender. The same meditation that asks for complete stillness cultivates alertness. Through this duality, the student learns a subtle truth. The path is not linear, and mastery is not a destination. It is the art of navigating the spectrum of experience with awareness, discipline, and fluidity. When discomfort arises, it need not provoke resistance. It becomes a teacher. When comfort is found, it need not lull you into complacency. It becomes a mirror of grace. The portal energy asks for this delicate equilibrium, the ability to act without attachment, to rest without fear, to embrace both ends of the spectrum without losing the center. In this sacred balance, the inner self discovers a new rhythm, a deeper alignment, and a quiet authority that arises not from control, but from attunement to the ever-shifting currents of life. True freedom often hides behind walls we do not see. In the Shaolin tradition, the monastic life appears filled with restriction: early rising, disciplined schedules, strict diet, long hours of silence. To the untrained eye, these limits seem confining, yet they are the very keys to liberation. Each boundary, each rule, is a teacher guiding the student inward, showing where dependence, distraction, or attachment still lingers. Through discipline, the mind learns to rest within itself, unshaken by impulse or external noise. During the 9999 portal, the energy calls for this subtle mastery, ordinary freedom. Chasing pleasures, opinions, or constant stimulation cannot hold the intensity of the moment. The portal asks for temporary constraints, small voluntary fasts from habitual thoughts, from indulgent comforts, even from familiar routines. These restrictions are not punishments, they are doors. By stepping through them, the self discovers reserves of clarity, patience, and strength previously hidden beneath layers of automatic behavior. In imposing limits, you begin to sense the architecture of your inner life. Boundaries once invisible become visible. Each act of restraint sharpens discernment, teaching where your energy leaks, where attachment holds sway, and where true autonomy begins. In Shaolin practice, mastery is measured not by how much one can do, but by how little one allows external forces to dictate inner rhythm. The body, trained to endure, becomes a mirror of the mind's capacity for focus. The mind, disciplined to observe, becomes a mirror of the spirit's capacity for sovereignty. Restriction, paradoxically, becomes freedom. By choosing the walls that frame your actions, you discover the vast open space within them. The portal offers a rare chance to step back from habitual indulgence, to surrender to intentional limitation, and in doing so, to awaken a deeper authority, one born not from accumulation, but from conscious containment and unwavering presence. Insight without embodiment is like wind passing through an empty room, felt briefly, but leaving no trace. Many spiritual portals bring visions, realizations, or subtle shifts in perception. Yet if these awakenings remain only in thought, they dissipate as easily as mist. True transformation requires the body as a vessel, the nervous system as a conduit, and the daily habits as the ground in which insight can grow. Shaolin practice teaches this principle with quiet rigor. Every movement, every stance, every breath is an opportunity to integrate awareness fully into the body. Qigong, mindful walking, controlled postures. These are not exercises for the body alone. They are bridges between mind, heart, and nervous system. They allow energetic patterns stirred by portals to settle, to become part of the living organism rather than remaining ephemeral notions in the mind. The body remembers what the intellect cannot hold. The bones carry the memory long after words have faded. During the 999 portal, this embodiment is essential. The energy is potent, and if left only in the conceptual mind, it can overwhelm, mislead, or slip away unnoticed. By moving deliberately, observing each sensation, aligning posture with breath, you anchor the portal's energy into your being. Each step, each motion, each pause is a silent affirmation. Insight is now lived, experienced, and allowed to shape the very structure of your presence. When insight penetrates the bones, it transforms the way you move through the world. Decisions arise naturally, not from analysis, but from resonance with a deeper wisdom that the mind alone cannot conjure. Patterns of reaction dissolve, and new rhythms emerge, calm, steady, precise. Embodied integration is the alchemy of thought into action, revelation into reality, and fleeting awareness into enduring mastery. Through this process, the portal becomes not just a moment in time, but a lived, palpable evolution of self. Thought often insists on taking the lead, narrating, judging, and resisting every moment, as if life itself depended on constant interpretation. Yet, in the deepest teachings of Chan and Zen, there exists a bridge beyond this restless activity, Wu Xin no mind. It is not a state of emptiness, but of presence so refined that conceptual thinking naturally subsides, allowing perception to meet reality directly without the filter of ego or expectation. During the 999 portal, the mind will stir more than usual. Memories, fears, plans, and judgments may surface with intensity, each demanding attention, each attempting to tether awareness to the familiar. The practice of no mind offers a refuge from this habitual pull. Brief pauses, gentle gaps between breaths, a conscious stillness of body and attention, all serve as openings into a space where thought loosens its grip. In this silence, awareness is not diminished. It expands, allowing a subtler intelligence to emerge, one not bound by logic or memory, but attuned to the flow of energy, intuition, and presence itself. The discipline is deceptively simple. Observe thought without following it, notice the narrative without feeding it, return to the body, the breath, the present sensation. Over time, this cultivates a steadiness that is unshaken by the turbulence of ordinary awareness. Insight begins to arise spontaneously, guidance no longer blocked by the ego's commentary. No mind is not an escape, but a bridge. It bypasses habitual resistance, egoic interference, and conceptual distraction. Through it, the wisdom of the portal can speak directly, quietly, without distortion. Action flows from clarity rather than reaction, perception from presence rather than habit. In this subtle state, the self learns to rest in its own depth, and the currents of life pass through without creating disturbance, revealing a profound authority born not from control, but from effortless attunement. Many voices dwell within, layered like sediment over centuries of experience, habit, and inherited belief. During powerful portals, these voices stir more vividly. Fear, doubt, guilt, and old patterns rise to the surface, each claiming authority. They are familiar, persuasive, and demanding, yet they are not the truest measure of who you are. Beneath them lies another voice, subtle and steady, the core of your awakened nature, unshaken by circumstance or memory. The practice of discernment begins with mindfulness. By observing which voice speaks in any moment without judgment or resistance, you learn to distinguish the clamor of conditioning from the clarity of your true self. The conditioned voices often carry urgency, repetition, or fear. They pull toward comfort, avoidance, or reactive behavior. The deeper voice speaks quietly, yet unmistakably, aligned with presence, integrity, and purpose. It does not demand. It reveals. It does not react. It guides. Over time, this listening becomes a form of inner governance. Each decision, each reaction is tested against the subtle resonance of the true self. The process is not immediate. It is cultivated through patience, reflection, and practice. Ancient Shaolin teachings speak of such attunement. The warrior who masters technique but not self is incomplete. Mastery of the inner voice is the foundation upon which all other strength rests. In moments of turmoil, when old fears clamor for attention, returning to the voice of clarity brings steadiness. When opportunities arise, the voice of the true self navigates with precision, free from the sway of habit or inherited expectation. The portal offers a rare moment to practice this distinction deliberately, to notice the hidden currents of conditioning, and to choose consistently the guidance that arises from the core. Step by step, moment by moment, the deeper voice grows until it becomes the quiet, unwavering authority that governs the rhythm of your life. Transformation often arrives quietly, like a seed lying beneath the dark soil, unseen and unnoticed. Portals bring a sense of urgency, a pressure to awaken, to act, to become immediately, yet real change moves at its own pace, measured not by impatience but by the readiness of the self to receive it. True regeneration requires patience, a willingness to inhabit the in-between spaces where growth silently unfolds. The energy of the 999 portal is potent, yet it cannot be rushed. Use it not as a force to accelerate the self, but as an invitation to create space, gaps between activity, pauses between thoughts, moments of stillness where incubation can occur. These intervals are fertile soil, allowing insights, shifts, and subtle transformations to root deeply before emerging. The new you does not arrive fully formed. It grows incrementally, shaped by reflection, experience, and deliberate presence. In Shaolin practice, this principle is embodied in the rhythm of training. After long hours of discipline, after the body has been tested and pushed, comes rest, reflection, and recovery. The mind and spirit absorb lessons not in the exertion alone, but in the pauses that follow. It is within these quiet moments, when effort is suspended, that integration occurs and the transformation solidifies. Growth, like water moving through stone, shapes itself gradually, often in ways that cannot be rushed or predicted. By honoring patience, you align with the natural pace of regeneration. You allow the self to emerge, not as a product of force, but as a consequence of readiness, insight, and careful cultivation. The portal's energy amplifies this process, offering a rare opportunity to practice restraint and trust. Step lightly into this space, allowing stillness, reflection, and the subtle currents of change to shape what is coming, knowing that the most profound growth often happens between the moments you notice the least. True mastery is measured not only by strength or insight, but by the capacity to serve without expectation, to act without seeking recognition. In the Shaolin and Chan traditions, the highest levels of discipline are inseparable from humility. Power divorced from compassion becomes brittle. Wisdom without generosity remains incomplete. The alchemy of personal transformation is sealed when it flows outward, touching lives beyond the self. During the 9999 portal, The energy is potent, and its influence extends far beyond individual consciousness. Every shift within has ripples in the collective field. This is a moment to align inner mastery with humble service, to allow the growth of self to benefit others. The gestures need not be grand. Small acts of presence, quiet listening, a word spoken with sincerity, a hand offered without expectation. These are the conduits through which the portal's energy solidifies. The self-mastery cultivated inwardly finds its fullest expression in these outward currents of care and compassion. Humility here is not weakness, it is disciplined strength. It recognizes that influence is not earned through assertion but through alignment with truth and the well-being of others. The portal amplifies subtle energies, and by moving with gentle intention toward service, the practitioner grounds this intensity, transforming it into something enduring. The act of giving, when performed without attachment to result, mirrors the balance of yin and yang, strength tempered by softness, action guided by awareness, personal evolution woven with collective harmony. Through this practice, transformation becomes layered, personal, embodied, and shared. The portal is no longer just a moment of individual awakening. It becomes a point of alchemical resonance where inner growth and outward generosity converge. Service and humility are the seal, binding the energy of the portal into the body, the mind, and the world. In this quiet alignment, mastery reaches its true depth, not as a crown worn alone, but as a current flowing silently and powerfully through the lives it touches. True power does not rush. It moves like water, deliberate yet effortless, flowing from a place of quiet authority. The 999 portal calls not for frantic motion, but for action born from stillness, a state where clarity precedes choice, and presence shapes every gesture. In these moments, the outer world may clamor for reaction, yet the awakened practitioner learns to pause, to breathe, and to allow the inner equilibrium to guide the outer movement. In Shaolin teaching, mastery is cultivated through this rhythm of action and stillness. The student trains the body and mind to respond with precision, yet never from haste or fear. Every strike, every stance, every step emerges from awareness, grounded in the silence between thought and motion. The portal amplifies this principle. It asks for a surrender to patience, a trust that the energy is not something to be chased, but a current to be channeled. Action born from clarity is different from reaction. It is rooted, measured, and aligned with the deeper flow of life. As this principle unfolds, a subtle transformation occurs. The self no longer needs to seek momentum externally. It becomes energy itself, resonant and self-propelled. Stillness becomes the anchor from which creativity, insight, and influence naturally arise. Decisions are no longer fragmented by impulse. Movements are no longer scattered by distraction. In this harmony, life is not forced, but orchestrated with the quiet precision of an inner compass. The mature alchemy of the portal lies here in moving without chasing, in doing without grasping, in letting presence itself dictate the timing and direction of every act. Awakened alignment transforms the ordinary into the sacred, the mundane into the deliberate. Through this practice, each moment becomes a reflection of mastery, silent, steady, and luminous, where energy flows not because it is sought, but because it is allowed to emerge from the depths of stillness. The 999 portal is not just a moment on the calendar, it is an invitation to journey inward, to meet yourself with clarity, courage, and presence. The work it calls for is subtle but profound, releasing what no longer serves, refining where your attention rests, balancing inner tensions, and stepping into a more sovereign version of yourself. Shaolin wisdom offers guiding principles: discipline through restriction, embodiment through mindful movement, humility through service, but the deepest transformation arises when silence guides your action and presence shapes your choices. By holding these truths close, by integrating them into your daily life, the portal's energy becomes a catalyst for genuine growth. Each pause, each mindful act, each compassionate gesture strengthens your alignment and allows the inner alchemy to unfold naturally. Transformation is not rushed. It is cultivated, lived, and embodied. Let this period be a gentle reminder that your power lies not in doing more, but in being fully present, disciplined, and awake. Allow stillness to guide your steps and let every action flow from clarity rather than reaction. In this way, the portal becomes not a fleeting moment, but a doorway into lasting inner sovereignty. If these insights resonate, carry them with intention and see how they subtly shape your life each day. Thank you for joining us on this journey of awakening. May your steps be steady, your mind clear, and your heart open. If you found value in this guidance, please like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire so we may continue exploring the path of wisdom and inner mastery together.